Good morning and welcome back, dear students. Hopefully, I am audible on your end and my presentation is already reflected on your screen. So, once again, welcome back to our lesson for today. So, before we start, when starting an entrepreneurial venture, most people begin with an idea they are excited about. They really want to put or start a new venture without brainstorming first or thinking of if that venture will really solve a certain problem. But in reality, success often comes from a different approach, finding real problems that people face. So, in previous lesson, we have discussed the macro perspective of a problem. So you have already a broader perspective on how to view the society and also the problems that is encountered by the society. But in this next lesson, in addition to that, in this lesson, number two, assemble real world problems, we will focus on looking for actual challenges, not just the challenges that we knew and challenges we just perceive on our own. So, with that, no, if we find actual challenges, customer experience, our business will become useful, long lasting, profitable, and also, of course, meet the needs of our society and especially our target customers. So, at the end of this lesson, our targets or objectives are to develop a deeper understanding of the industry or domain of your interest, identify the gaps, challenges in the industry. Next is identify growth drivers. And last one is to identify one problem that you want to solve. So hopefully we will meet all of these objectives and or targets. So to meet those, let's now proceed to our learning management system. Let me present and show to you our LMS. For a while. Okay, so in your browser, just kindly search the Wadwani entrepreneurship and then click on it and then proceed to your cohort and go to the course. Click your go to course and then course content. So we're done with the lesson one of module one. We will now proceed to module one, lesson two. Please bear with me because I have a weak internet connection this time. So like lesson one, as you can see in our learning management system, in lesson two, we have three parts: the session content, and the mandatory course work. So for the pre-session content, this is also important because it will give us the introduction of our lesson for today. And the introduction consists of glossary of terms or definition of terms, terminologies that are critical, and some other terminologies that uh, we'll encounter in this lesson. So once we click the introduction, we will have this one glossary of terms, the overview of the lesson, a quick explainer, and also a reel or short video that will explain to us the importance of knowing the problem, real world problem in uh, starting an entrepreneurial venture. So for the glossary of terms, you may click the arrow on it and then click critical terms, and then you will find there those words that you will encounter in our lesson, such urbanization, technological trends, demography, CAGR, and problem statement. So all you have to do to access the definition of it is click the white arrow on the lower right side. And then there you have it, the definition of those terms. So we will not discuss those definition. Hopefully you are uh, viewing the navigating also our LMS as I navigate it. Okay, so now let's proceed with the next additional terms. There you have it. If you are an auditory learner, we have here a video presentation discussing the definition of each terms. But if you are a visual learner, so we have here a written definition of each terms. So it is important that you know those terminologies because we will encounter those in our lesson. So I will let you uh, navigate those terms before we proceed. Okay, hopefully you are done. And after that, you may start your beginner's quiz. This will help you to really to check if you really understand and if there's a retention in the uh, those definitions that you have learned in our introduction. So after taking the beginner's quiz, we will now proceed to the session content. In this part, this is the main part of our uh, lesson 2, module 1. So because we will find here the contents, the informations and facts that you need to learn. So let's start first with concept primer. You can zoom it in and maximize your LMS for you to view the whole picture of it. So for the first part, we have the reminder. Why are problem important? So in our daily life, we find problem as a roadblocks to a certain thing. But for entrepreneurs, problems are opportunities and problems are uh, important. So problem solving is a key leadership skill. It is equally critical for startups, small businesses, and corporations. It is the foundation of innovation. People often go wrong on problems. And difference between perceived and actual problems is willingness of customer to pay. So always remember that if there's a problem, there's an opportunity. Because if there's a problem, therefore we can have something we can have something new to offer. And problems are bridge to new things. Okay? And with those problems, though, we can have an idea of what startup we can begin with. So, according to our research, 95% of all new products fail, including those launched by large corporations. Because, yeah, according to that, those are manifestations of wrong problems. And 42% of failed startups identified the lack of market need for their product. Maybe uh, some identified a certain problem, but the problem identified is not worth solving. That is why some startups also fail because the market doesn't need the solution they have offered. Okay, so that's why it is very important to identify a problem, but not just a problem, but a real world problem. And let's now proceed to the next one. So to exit from this uh, part, you click the home button. And then we'll proceed to problem identification triggers. Problem identification triggers will help us to, these are the uh, things that will help us to on how we can identify problems. So in what way can we identify problems? It can be through personal experience, okay? Experiences from your daily living. What are your experiences in transportation, food, your basic necessities, and so on? What frustrates you? What annoys you in a certain thing? So, yeah. Next is personal passions, your interest. Okay, that can also be a an identifying factor in thinking of a problem or challenge. Next is observation. Of course, it is not just us who should identify that certain problem. We should also observe our society. It should not only be based on our experiences, the problems that we need to identify, but also those problems faced by our community. Professional experiences, urbanization trends, socio-economic trends, domain trends, and technological changes. So these are the identifying factors in coming up with a certain problems. So with professional experiences, what are the in in demand or professional experiences, or what are the problems with regards to uh, employment, work, urbanization trends? If there are a big, huge amount of settlers or huge amount of population in a certain city. So what problem or what opportunity can you find from that? Socioeconomic trends, yeah, domain trends, and technological trends. So those are identifying factors that we can use to think and identify a problem. So after identifying problem, we can aside from that, we can use those identification tool, no? Not just one identification tool is used, but we can have a compounding of those identification tools. A problem is very strong if there is a compounding identification tool. Like for example, the intersection between personal experience and rapid urbanization. That is the identification tool that the Uber company use. And the caliber, they use professional experience and socioeconomic trends. So don't just use one identification factor. We should have a compound, or not just two. It can be two or more, but at least we have intersection of trends or two or compound identification factors. So after identifying a problem, we can now filter those problems. So here is a simple filter, problem versus problem worth solving. We can answer the following questions. To ensure that the problem is worth solving, ensure that your problem is relevant, not one that is already dying. The problem you have identified one that you feel passionate about, because if you feel passionate about it, you will have the drive to uh, finish what you have started. Is it highly painful, highly desirable, the problem that you have identified? It really matters to many people and or companies. Yeah. And hasn't been solved many times over already. Okay. So those are our filters to know if the problem is really worth solving. So after that, you'll proceed to case study two. So the case study two will show you the different industries and also the main under that industries. It will give you an idea of the uh, growth of a certain industry, the trends of a certain industry, the cover of it, and so on. So for your team deliverable, you need to find your team worth solving. So number one, you need to do venture activity 1.1, discover real life problems, and venture activity 1.2, industry or domain. So how to go about identifying your problem worth solving. Number one, brainstorm and explore. So with your team having a maximum of three members, yeah. Explore the industry, the domain areas, and the top three problems that the team members had identified at the time of team formation. Brainstorm to develop a more detailed understanding of each problem and its domain trends. And the next, identify top two with problem passion alignment. As a team, identify at least two problems that have an alignment with your passion. That is important because you want to benefit from each team member's energy, passion, and their best thinking. And last, apply simple filters that we have discussed a while ago to identify one problem worth solving. So again, is the problem uh, if it is the problem worth solving, choose that one. Apply the filters using data to validate your thinking along all the criteria mentioned in the filters. Use industry case study 1 and 2 for data validation. So develop a simple pitch template provided on the platform. So by the way, here is case study 1. So I will just show it to you. It is in the session content also. So just click the case study 1 tool and then, okay, you will find here the different industries in our society and also the domains under that industry. So please bear with me because I have a big internet connection. Okay, there you go. Here, you will find here the different industries. And then if you want other industries, there are more. Just click the arrow down. And then there, you will find other industries. So just click the industry that you are passionate about or interested in. And then there, it will show you the different domains of that industry and the informations regarding that specific domain. Okay. So now that we are done with the session content, we'll now proceed to your mandatory coursework. And under your mandatory coursework, as mentioned a while ago, you need to accomplish activity 1.1 and activity 1.2. So as we click on your venture journey, just read the instructions and proceed and click the here. Okay, so just read the instruction first, and after reading the instructions, you may proceed to your venture tab to access your activity 1.1 and activity 1.2. So the venture tab is here in your venture journey. So here is activity 1.1. It will appear on your screen. There, activity 1.1. Once you click it, I have already finished it. That's why the word here before the view output is redo. Okay. But if it is not yet done, okay, it says their start. Okay. If you want to edit it, you may click the redo to edit your answer. So once you click it, it will direct you to activity 1. And then once you're done and completing all the needed information, just click complete. And then proceed to activity 2. Identify the industry or domain of the problem. So click start. On my venture journey, it's redo because I have already uh, completed or accomplished this activity. So just fill the necessary informations or the needed informations and click complete. And then you're done with activity 1.1 and activity 1.2. Please complete all your mandatory coursework because those are our indications, or we will use those to evaluate you as we certify you in this uh, course or in this training. Do you have question, class, students? Okay, so I think none. If you don't have question, that would be all for today, and hopefully you will find a problem that is worth solving. Thank you and see you again on our next meeting.